legends of Christmas. And here are two people on my naughty list, Neil and Chris.
Hello and welcome to Urbane Legends, the 12 Legends of Christmas, Day 6. Snowed in Neil's bunker. Neil has managed to beat me at Risk, I think, through the power of cheating.
What you're saying, is it?
Well, I don't think...
Power of being better at it than you.
Well, no, I think the power of loaded dice, because no one gets that lucky rolling that many sixes in a row. And also, some more news. We've got some tinned hot dogs and stuff here. And
trying to claim that 103 consecutive sixes is statistically improbable.
Well,
nothing, do you, Flynn?
Well, I'm not saying...
ignorant little brain.
Well...
To cope with the complexity of mathematics.
Well, maybe that's true. Maybe I'm not good at
maybe it's true. Maybe it is true.
At the numbers, but I still think that it's unlikely.
Just retreat into your little Trumpian fantasy that it was all rigged against you.
All right, well...
It just weren't good enough.
Well, it's also weird that you wouldn't let me look at the dice.
Yeah.
Very weird, that, isn't it? A lot of weird things happening.
Well, not weird at all.
Yeah, it was weird that suddenly Peter's from...
Well, he's stealing my dice, don't you?
It was weird that you were saying that the hotels from the board game Monopoly actually were super battalions as well. That was weird. Yeah. You were saying that anything over a 1 equaled wipeout.
Everything's weird to the man of narrow vision, isn't it?
Well,
just strange things going on.
Yeah, there was a lot of strange things going on in that game. A lot of very strange things. A lot of Connect 4 pieces on the board as well.
Urban myths creeping out right here.
Which you said were nuclear warheads. That was weird. Well, it's not in the rules, is it? Yeah. Which as soon as I asked to see, you ate.
Yeah, I was hungry.
Were you?
And they're delicious.
Well, is that why you were vomiting for so long afterwards, was it? You having a little purge?
I'm bulimic, because you know, Chris.
You're bulimic, are you?
Yeah.
Not going well, is it?
How dare you?
And we got some tinned hot dogs, and I wanted to have a barbecue to cheer myself up. And Neil refused to let me have a barbecue because he said we'd die of carbon monoxide poisoning like a cuck.
Yeah. If you want to kill yourself, that's fine, but I'm taking me with you.
Oh, really? What? Because didn't you want any because of your apparent bulimia?
Yeah.
Is that?
Well, it's fine. I could have chowed down, couldn't I? And then
why did you eat them all raw and then drink all the brine afterwards?
Drink all the
yeah. Didn't stick them up, I noticed.
Well, that you know.
Well, I do know. We're in one room.
Street. Well, no, you've got that backed up toilet that we're still apparently using for some reason.
Well, I've not been in there for a while. I'm just sort of
pretty
going.
eye-watering.
I'm just going now.
Just going in your
I've made myself
diapers, aren't you?
Yeah, well, you had. I mean, very wisely, and I didn't ask the reason why, but you did have several crates of adult diapers down.
Yeah, well, now you know why, don't you? Well, thankful for it now, aren't you?
I am very thankful for it. Yeah, things could have got rather sticky otherwise. Well, and including, but not going to tread down that path too much.
So that chemical toilet's not going to stick up for much longer with the abuse it's getting.
So no, I wouldn't have thought so.
Right. Anyway, moving swiftly on.
So
you've got a tale, have you, today?
Yeah, Chris? Today we're not going to look at another one of Santa's band of psychos. We're going to go for something. A bit different.
St. Nicholas punches children again. The tinge of inevitability about it.
So no, we're going to the Scandinavias, and we're going.
Beach.
Yeah, and we're going to have a look at the Nisse or Tomte. So undo the voice. And they are a mythological creature from Nordic folklore, typically associated with the winter solstice and Christmas season.
You would imagine so, yeah.
Well, being as this is a Christmas,
Christmas
series.
You've stayed on brief, that's good.
Yeah, I know, exactly. It's good, isn't it?
It's not like part of the Midsummer Festival or whatever.
it's a Midsummer Festival on Mars.
Yeah.
They are generally described as being short, having a long white beard, and wearing a conical or knit cap in grey, red, or some other bright colour. They often have an appearance somewhat similar to that of a garden gnome. Yay!
Thinking yet these names or elves.
This is a bit more cheerful, isn't it? Than
this should be a bit better.
Santa's bleak crew.
Yeah. Mind you, we don't know what they get up to yet.
That's true, actually. I mean, it all starts nice, doesn't it? Yeah. And they're actually like soaring down a tree of life or something.
Yeah. Commit genocide or something.
So, the Nisse is one of the most familiar... I'm going to keep doing it. Is one of the most familiar creatures of Scandinavian folklore, and he has appeared in many works of Scandinavian literature. With the romanticisation and collection of folklore during the 19th century, the Nisse gained popularity. So I'm not going to read terminology. I'll read English translation, I guess.
Fair enough.
While the Nisse is in native Norwegian, is retained in Pat Shaw Everson's English translation, 1960. I'm reading that's boring. Sorry, I'm not doing it.
Oh, well, fuck that.
Not going to read dialects either or etymology.
Sorry, Norway, you were Vikings once. Let's have a bit more.
Yeah, come on. Well, I mean, yeah. Let's not talk about how they. Norway, not so much, but Sweden. Let's not talk about how they treat the nomadic people who live in the Sami people. Who I have actually met some Sami people when I went up to Tromsø.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, very nice, very nice. I did like a activity thing in the Arctic Circle where you like do a dog sled and stuff.
Oh, cool.
Very fun. Very cold.
Ooh, I imagine.
-40 or something.
Oh, blimey.
So I'll read the etymology. The term Nisse may be derived from the Old Norse Nossi, meaning dear little relative.
Fair enough.
Another explanation is it's a corruption of Nils, the Scandinavian form of Nicholas. A conjecture has also been advanced that Nisse may be related to Nixie, but this is a water sprite, and the proper conjugate of the nok is not Nisse. The Tomte, which means homestead man, Gardvord, farm guardian, and Tunkal, which means yard's fellow, bear names associated blah 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 blah. Too much wine. Bear names that associate them with farmsteads. The Finnish tontu is also derived from the term for a place of residence and an area of influence, the house lot, which is tonti.
Do you reckon do they have garden names abroad, or is it just a British thing?
You can get garden names and stuff like in Scandinavia for sure.
You can, yeah, okay.
Yeah, I think they have them in America as well.
Yeah, I would. It's one of those things you're never quite sure. Do you know what I mean? I don't know where they originated.
Anywhere where there's sort of a Scandinavian influence, you get gnomes.
Do you think we inherited it from the Scandinavians? Okay.
100%, yeah.
Fair enough. I mean, not that I've ever owned a garden gnome, but...
not that I've ever owned a garden.
Yeah.
So, history and cultural relevance. According to tradition, the Nisse lives in the house and barns of the farmstead and secretly acts as a guardian. If treated well, they protect the family and animals from evil and misfortune, and may also aid the chores and farm work. That's nice, isn't it? It'll help us.
So a bit, well, not so much so, but there's legends like this around leprechauns and stuff, isn't there? Or some of the spirits, so they'd leave out a bowl of milk, because if you're nice to the sort of fairies and stuff, then they would, they'd sort of, do nice things for you.
Remember that thing? Like there was those pictures at the turn of the century of like that this guy took with his like nieces with fairies.
Oh, this is the one where they tricked Arthur Conan Doyle.
Yeah, and it was literally they were just cutouts from magazines.
Well, as people pointed out, if they were actually flying, then why would their wings wouldn't be still? If you take a picture of like an insect or something, you can't.
But people actually believed it was like proof of fairies.
Well, there was a whole end of that century. There was just a lot of
spiritualism,
kind of spiritualism around. Yeah, and Arthur Conan Doyle was weirdly
spiritualist.
Caught up into all of that. Yeah.
He was, and he was mates with Houdini, who was a debunker,
massively debunking all this stuff. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, because he didn't like the fact that they were ripping people off, and also they pretended to contact his dead mother, and it was like, well, why is she speaking in English? She can't speak Hungarian. Like,
no, in the afterlife.
The afterlife, they have Google Translate.
Yeah, no, that's a good lad, Houdini. But I think we might have covered some of this on. Didn't we do on one of our episodes? I vaguely recall us talking about the last woman to get done for witchcraft in England. I think it was in like the during the war. I can't remember what it was pertaining to. I can't remember the episode. I'm sure we've talked about the podcast. Anyway,
there's been so many, Neil.
Oh, there's been so many, Chris. One can't recall.
No way. So, but the thing is, Neil,
interesting story the last witchcraft trial in England.
Neil, so that's their good side, right?
Yes,
fair enough. Treat them well.
Treat them right. They'll treat you right.
Tell you what, though, Neil. Once insulted, they will usually play tricks, steal items, and even maim or kill livestock. So don't fuck with them, all right? Don't treat their kindness for weakness. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So
we wanted it one way, but you took it another way.
And now you're going to have to pay the price. Oh, nice head of sheep you had there for a while. So there are.
Maybe if you wanted the family to live through the winter, you should have thought a bit harder about how you treat the fairies, isn't it?
Yeah, you shouldn't have fucking insulted us. It's about respect.
Yep.
So their appearance. The Nisse Tomte was also imagined as a small, elderly man. Size varies from a few inches to about half the height of an adult man.
Often with a full top from
full
whatever
beard,
that Guy Ritchie movie was.
That's from
the second
Snatch.
one he did. Snatch, that's it, yeah. One of the more tolerable efforts.
Yeah, it's right, Snatched. So he was dressed in traditional farmer's garb, consisting of a pullover woolen tunic, belted at the waist, and knee breeches with stockings. This was still the common male dress in rural Scandinavia in the 17th century, giving an indication of when the idea of the Nisse spread. However, there are also folk tales where he's believed to be a shapeshifter and able to take the shape far larger than that of an adult man. And other tales...
By how far larger is that's be interesting.
Just far larger.
Size of the Empire State Building?
I mean,
we talking like,
size of a truck.
Godzilla?
Talking...
wasn't a nuclear bomb, it was a Swedish name.
Are we talking about an eldritch god?
Yeah. Can he swallow planets?
Yeah.
This could get quite terrifying.
Yeah.
The scale matters, man.
Does a universe exist in his eye?
Yeah.
So in other tales, where the Nisse is believed to have a single cyclopean eye. In modern Denmark, Nisse are often seen as beardless, wearing grey and red woolens with a red cap.
Well, we've got safety razors now, so...
Well, exactly. Don't need to use a cutthroat.
I was wanting to smarten up, but my little face, it was, getting torn up with one of those big razors. And we don't do ironmongery in the Gnome Kingdom, so...
It was all... Yeah,
thanks, Swimmington, for coming out with a Mac 3.
Yeah, thanks, Bic.
Yeah. Oh, it's a beautiful smooth skin I got now.
Since Nisse, are you still shaving with a cutthroat razor, or do you do something different now?
I don't really shave properly anymore. Well, as you can see,
But you went for a phase of using a cutthroat, didn't you?
I did, yeah. I mean, it's a good way to get a very close shave, but it's a fucking faff.
I literally just use Bics, and then, because I normally grow it out a bit, I use clippers, and then I bick it, and that's a nice smooth shave without having to slit my own throat.
Yeah, I think I've still got a cutthroat knocking around somewhere, but I don't.
Just in case things get tasty.
Yeah. But just in case I want to reenact Peaky Blinders in my flat. But I think I've got a couple of other razors. But no, to be honest with you, I generally just use clippers with a guard, so I just keep it down to a little bit. And this is great entertainment.
This is good stuff. Yeah.
By the way, and I occasionally just shave it clean. But no, I don't look great with a completely fully shaven face.
I think what's interesting is
Horrifying
that
baby
you're the
face.
only person that I've ever known to use a cutthroat razor.
Yeah, I think there was a little bit of a thing going on with that. It became
hipster.
like a hipster thing. Yeah, now it's all beards, isn't it? But yeah.
So,
anyway, they give you a very close shave, but it's a lot of faffing about. The thing is, one of those things, if you can be bothered to spend literally 40 minutes shaving, all of the prep and all the rest of it, then
absolutely
it's
not.
a lovely clean shave. But yeah, it's a lot of faffing about.
So, back to the story. Back to what we're here for.
And anyone who wants to hear more about British shaving adventures, please.
Yeah, they want to hear about gnomes, not Neil shaving.
Yeah.
I mean,
signed on for
the two main topics.
Yeah.
Since Nisse are thought to be skilled illusionists and sometimes able to make themselves invisible, one was unlikely to get more than brief glimpses of him, no matter what he looked like. Norwegian folklore states that he has 4 fingers, and sometimes with pointed ears, and eyes reflecting light in the dark like those of a cat. So, the Tomte's height is anywhere between 60 centimetres, 2 foot, to no taller than 90 centimetres, 3 foot, according to one Swedish-American source. Whereas the Tomte were just 1 alm tall, an alm, or Swedish L, being just shy of 60 centimetres or 2 foot, according to one local Swedish tradition. So they're about 2 foot, so...
Yeah, fair enough. That's I would expect them to be around that size.
Temperament. Despite his small size, Nisse possesses immense strength.
Oh.
They are easily offended by carelessness, lack of proper respect, but I've got real like Napoleon complex, and lazy farmers. Really right wing.
But he's not maintained that plough at all. Let's give him a fucking shoe in.
I'm going to slit his goat's throat. As the protector of the farm and caretaker of livestock, the retributions for bad practices ranges from small pranks, like a hard strike to the ear, to more severe punishments, like killing of livestock or ruining of the farm's fortune.
So this again feels like one of those cautionary tales, but not for kids. It's kind of like...
For farmers, lazy farmers. Observance of traditions is thought to be important to the Nisse, as they do not like changes in the way things are done at their farms.
Little Nigel Farage.
They're really little Norwegianers to the little Englanders. They are also easily offended by rudeness, farm workers swearing, urinating in the barns, or not treating the creatures well can frequently lead to a sound thrashing by the Tomte or Nisse.
Dancing, having fun, laughing.
Yeah.
I'm liking them less and less with each other.
They've got a side, haven't they?
Little pricks, yeah.
If anyone spills something on the floor in the Nisse's house, it's considered proper to shout a warning to Tomte below. One is also expected to please Nisse with gifts. Little mobsters.
High maintenance little fuckers, aren't they?
Well, a traditional gift is a bowl of porridge on Christmas Eve, so not too bad.
Fair enough.
If the Tomte is not given his...
Tomte, if you want one, just ask.
Yeah, just ask, mate.
I'd be happy to.
If the Tomte is... I shouldn't have to ask. It's like a really toxic relationship.
Whose porridge was it? Do you know the fucking H, you little twat?
My mother warned me not to marry you. If the Tomte is not given his gift, he might leave the farm or house or engage in mischief, such as tying the cow's tails together in the barn, turning objects upside down and breaking things.
What's that mean, you little coward? Is you just taking out the animals?
Hey, wait a minute now. Hey, if you don't want this to happen, Nisse likes his porridge with a pat of butter on top, all right?
I'm sure he does.
I know how I like my porridge.
Bit of gold leaf.
Frankincense
served out by Salt Bay or whatever his twat's name's good.
Yeah, he likes his porridge with a shaving of truffles.
Truffle, yeah. Preferably white, but if you're skin flint, black truffle will do.
Yeah, but don't expect me not to tie the cow's tails together.
Rubbish.
In an often retold story, a farmer put the butter underneath the porridge. When the Nisse of his farmstead found that the butter was missing, he was filled with rage and killed the cow resting in the barn. But as he thus became hungry, he went back to the porridge and ate it, and so found the butter at the bottom of the bowl. Full of grief, He then hurried to search the lands to find another farmer with an identical cow and replace the former with a latter. So he stole it off someone else.
Yeah.
That's
rational.
In another tale, a Norwegian maid decided to eat the porridge herself and ended up severely beaten by the Nisse.
Yeah.
The being
Won't
swore,
do it again.
"Have you eaten the porridge for the Nisse? You have to dance with him." The farmer found her nearly lifeless the morning after.
Bloody hell.
So the Nisse is connected to farm animals in general, but his most treasured animal is the horse. Belief has it that one could see which horse was the Tomte's favourite, as it will be especially healthy and well taken care of. Sometimes the Tomte will even braid the horse's hair and tail. Undoing these braids without permission can mean misfortune or angering the Tomte. Some stories tell of how the Nisse could drive people mad or bite them. The bite from a Nisse is poisonous. Otherworldly healing is usually required. As the story goes, a girl was bitten, withered and died before help arrived. So they got poisonous teeth.
What's all these poor milkmaids that seem to be getting targeted?
Well, they're eating all the porridge, mate.
Well, yeah.
Won't listen.
I think they're being fed properly at home, aren't they?
An angry Tomte is featured in the popular children's book by Swedish author Selma Langlof. I'm not going to do that bit. After Christianization. The Nisse of Tomte was in ancient times believed to be the soul of the first inhabitor of the farm. He who cleared the Tomt, house lot. He who had his dwellings on the burial mound on the farm. Hence the now somewhat archaic Swedish names Tomte Nissen and Tomte Karel in Swedish Norwegians. I'm not reading all that. The Nisse was not always a popular figure, surprising it?
Yeah.
particularly
Particularly
during and after the Christianization of Scandinavia. Like most creatures of folklore, he would be seen as heathen and be demonized and connected to the devil.
Jesus has got no track with names, tell you what. He's a tacky.
Farmers believing in the house Tomte could be seen as worshipping false gods and demons. In a famous 14th century decree, St. Birgitta warns against the worship of Tomte Gudhi, or Tomte gods. Folklore added other negative beliefs about the Tomte, such as Tomte on the farm meant you put the fate of your soul at risk, or that you had to perform various non-Christian rites to lure Tomte to your farm. The belief in a Nisse's tendency to bring riches to the farm by his unseen work could also be dragged into conflicts between neighbours. If one farmer was doing far better for himself than others, some might say it was because he had a Nisse on the farm doing ungodly work and was stealing from the neighbours. And this rumours could be very damaging for the farmer who found himself accused, much like accusations of witchcraft during the Inquisition.
Oh, classic.
Beautiful stuff.
No, he's not more hard working than me.
He's not hard working. Yeah, he didn't buy a better plot of land.
He's using gnomes.
He's using
Satan's gnome labour through
gnomes
Satan to make the work easier.
I reckon you should burn him and his land be handed over to me because I managed to spot it. That's so
innocent.
That is such a fucking play, isn't it? Back in those days.
Oh yeah. Well, I think there probably were genuine beliefs in a lot of these things, but yeah, there's a lot of it as well.
There's a lot of it which is just like, I reckon I can. The thing is, it's quite. I know it's hard times and all that, but it's quite psychopathic, isn't it, to get someone killed so you can have their stuff?
I mean, yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's kind of bring back feudalism. That's what I say.
Well, it's kind of against, and considering it's Christian stuff, like this is all like to do with Christianity, isn't it? Like slightly against like one of the Ten Commandments, or one or two of the Ten Commandments.
Think about Christianity, Chris. Isn't it?
It's flexible.
Yeah, it's got a
bit of flex in it.
Yeah, okay,
depending who's reading it.
We get real funny about those Ten Commandments, and as to when they were much more happy to just pull out some obscure verse from Leviticus to justify my homophobia than to actually obey the fucking Ten Commandments.
Yeah, while wearing wearing underwear, which is a mix of cotton and polyester, therefore actually punishable by death in the same part of Leviticus, because you're not allowed to mix fabrics.
Yes.
Yep. They're considered exactly the same, guys.
There's a few juicy ones in Leviticus, but there you go.
So, similar folklore. The Nisse shares many aspects with other Scandinavian whites, such as the Swedish vatter, the Danish veter, the Norwegian vetter or tussa. These beings are social, however, whereas the Nisse is always solitary. Synonyms of Nisse include gardebo, gardvord. In all Scandinavian languages...
I'm just picturing some Scandinavian language speaker just wincing.
On you Swedish listener.
Yes.
And Godbond, which is good farmer. Gardsra, yard spirit in Swedish and Norwegian, and Fjosnissi, barn gnome in Norwegian. The Tomte could also take a ship for his home. I'm off.
Nice. Seafaring god
and was then known as Skeppe Stomte or Skibsnese. In Finland, the sauna also has a sauna tonsu. So they
do get around, don't they?
Yeah,
it's a good division of labour. So what do you think the sauna one does? Is just make sure the coals are nice and hot?
Yeah, just looks after the sauna.
Plenty of water.
Yeah, plenty of branches.
Yeah.
Also related is
little bits of repairs just to make sure,
is the Nispuk, which is widespread in the area of South Jutland, in the Danish-German border area. In other European folklore, there are many beings similar to the Nisse, such as the Scots and English brownie, the Northumbrian English hob, which I've never heard of, the West Country pixie, which we've all heard of, the Germans Heiselmansion, and the Dutch Kaboteur, or the Slavic Domovoy. Usage in folklore in expressions such as Nisse God Drang, Nisse Good Lad, is suggested of Robin Goodfellow. So, modern Nisse. They move with the times.
Oh, this should be good. They're all on Twitter or something.
Yeah, they're all on TikTok.
They've got their own social media, the problematic social media platform. They're all or something.
True Social.
True Social, yeah. Fucking thing's good.
The tradition of Nisse Tomte is also associated with Christmas. The Tomte is accompanied by another mythological creature, the Yule goat. The pair appear on Christmas Eve, knocking on doors of people's homes and handing out presents.
Oh, that's nice, isn't it?
Yep.
It's like a St. Nicholas without the gang of psychopaths. That's good, isn't it?
Oh, just with a goat.
Yeah.
Just with a mild-mannered goat. The Nisse will deliver gifts to the door in accordance with the modern-day tradition of the visiting Santa Claus. He enters the home to hand out presents. The Tomte or Nisse is also commonly seen with a pig, another popular Christmas symbol in Scandinavia, probably related to their fertility and the role as the guardian of the farmstead. It's customary to leave behind a bowl of porridge with butter for the Tomte or Nisse, so like we leave out carrots for Rudolph and milk or whiskey for Santa, depends on what your family's
like. Glass of brandy or something and a mince pie for Santa, yeah.
For Santa Dad before bed. Tomorrow's going to be horrible. So you leave out a bowl of porridge in gratitude.
Yes.
In the 1840s, the farm's Nisse became the bearer of Christmas presents in Denmark and was called the Yule Nissen, so the Yule Nisse. In 1881, the Swedish magazine Nye Illustrated Tidning published Victor Rydberg's poem Tomten, where a Tomte is alone awake on a cold Christmas night, pondering the mysteries of life and death.
Ooh, there you go.
The poem featured featured in the painting by Jenny Nystrom of this traditional Swedish mythical character, which she turned into a white-bearded, red-capped, friendly figure associated with Christmas. So, like, these things...
Also Santa Claus, yeah.
Yeah, but they've I kind of feel like the Coca-Cola company took the imagery of this and banged it onto Santa Claus.
Well, yeah, there wasn't standard imagery for a lot of this stuff, because, of course, a lot of it would have been, like, word of mouth or tradition.
Well, traditionally, he wore green Santa, didn't he?
No, it varied.
Okay.
The whole thing about Coca-Cola making that up is a myth. A lot of countries had him as green, like German ones, but a lot of them did red as well. There wasn't a fixed. More what happened after the cola stuff is that it became fixed in people's heads that he was like a red and white.
They talk about this here. So shortly afterwards, and obviously influenced by the emerging Father Christmas traditions as well as new Danish traditions, a variant of the Nisse Tomte called the Tomte in Sweden and Nisse in Norway started bringing the Christmas presents in Sweden and Norway instead of the traditional Yule goat. Gradually, commercialism has made...
The Yule goat's out of work now.
Yeah.
Fucking, this is the problem, you know. Christmas has gotten too commercial now.
Yeah, I agree.
When the Yule goat can't find...
Yeah, I know. I mean, and Christmas is in his fucking name, do you know what I mean? And what chance the rest of us? So gradually, commercialism has made him look more and more like the American Santa Claus, but the Swedish Yule Tomte and the Norwegian Yule Nissen and the Danish Yule Mand and the Finnish Yule Pukki. So in Finland, he's still called the Yule Goat, although the animal features have disappeared. Still have features, traditions that are rooted in local culture. He doesn't live in the North Pole, but perhaps in a forest nearby, or in Denmark, he lives in Greenland, and in Finland, he lives in Lapland. He doesn't come down a chimney at night, but through the front door, delivering the presents directly to the children. Yeah, he's not a coward.
He'd take care of business.
Yeah, just like the Yule Goat did. He's not overweight. And even if he nowadays sometimes rides in a sleigh drawn by reindeer instead of just walking around with his sack, the reindeer don't fly.
Yeah.
And
he goes down the gym.
Yeah.
He walks it off.
Yeah, he does that thing with the two ropes.
Yeah.
Like people do.
Very much like that scene from Rocky, that montage.
Yeah, very much.
Any of those montages in all of those Rocky movies?
Well, I'd say probably the one where he's in the snow's probably the one we'll go with.
Well, that's Rocky 4, which is the most...
That's Rocky 3. Oh, no, it is 4, isn't it?
No, it's 4. 3. He goes to Russia.
Yeah, but that's Rocky 3 where he goes to Russia. Because the Russian Drago kills...
3 is where he fights Mr. T.
I thought that was 2.
One is Apollo Creed. 2 is Apollo Creed again. So in 1, he doesn't win the title. It's a draw. So he doesn't.
Well, he loses. He wins
the title. 3, he's on top of the world and he fights Mr. T and Hulk Hogan.
Yeah.
Again, enjoy this podcast, listeners. And 4 is where he defeats communism by fighting Ivan Drago. I don't think I've ever fucking seen. Yeah, what confuses is that 1 and 2 are both Apollo Creed.
Okay, that's it.
Because in the first one, actually, what is actually quite a good move, he doesn't win the world title.
No, but he's the only one to ever go last 12 rounds.
Yeah, and it's actually technically a draw, so he doesn't. But that's
well, he loses on points, I think.
I feel like it was a draw, but anyway, whatever, doesn't matter.
Either way, don't matter, Neil. So
he's proven himself.
He has proven himself.
To him and Adrian and the world. Yeah. And then they got less and less good after that. At the point where he literally defeats communism. I mean, Clubber Lang's a good character.
Yeah, because Mr. T's is the only hero that I've ever had in my life. Which is true. I'm not a big hero person, but Mr. T, when I was a kid, was my hero.
Oh, I would genuinely like to meet Mr. T to this day.
It's a good choice because he hasn't really let anyone down ever. He seems like a really good guy.
No, he just generally seems like a stand-up guy, to be fair. Yeah.
So, in Sweden, Denmark and Norway, some still put out a bowl of porridge on Christmas Eve. He's still often pictured on Christmas cards and house and garden decorations as the little man of Jenny Nystrom's imagination, often with a horse or cat, or riding a goat, or in a sled pulled by a goat. And for many people, the idea of the farm tomte still lives on, even if only in imagination and literature. The use of the word tomte in Sweden is now somewhat ambiguous, but often when someone speaks of jultomten or tomten, one is referring to the more modern version, while if one speaks of tomtar or tomtarana, I've got that one wrong. Doesn't matter. It's the only one I've got wrong, I assume.
Just sounds like you're singing ABBA songs now in the original Swedish. I don't know.
One could also likely be referring to the more traditional Tomte. The traditional word Tomte still lives on as an idiom referring to the human caretaker of the property. So that's good, isn't it? As well as referring to someone in one's building who mysteriously does someone a favour, such as hanging up one's laundry. A person may also wish for a little
chicken garden name, aren't you?
To tidy them up. A Tomte stars in one of... I'm not bothered about that. So...
Should we skip to the end?
Final bit, garden gnome. The appearance traditionally ascribed to a Nisse or Tomte resembles that of the garden gnome figurine, which are in turn also called... I'm not going to attempt all that. So that's the Nisse / Tomte. So don't get on their wrong side.
Parochial, bit old-fashioned.
They'll kill your animals. Yeah. Quite right-wing.
Yeah, not the worst we've come across.
But they do have a good side, and they don't ask a lot, really. No swearing, no pissing in the barn, bowl of porridge at Christmas with the butter on top. But don't be a lazy farmer.
Bit quick to hand out a beat down, in my opinion.
They are quite. They're quick to anger. I would say, like every single Christmas.
Tiny fists.
Yeah, but they're inhumanly strong.
Well, exactly. Yeah, it would make it worse if anything.
Well, exactly, because the punching, because
the power with the force,
power with the smaller surface area.
Bruising is going to be far worse.
Yeah, crack a few ribs, couldn't they?
Oh.
That's for sure. Well, that's it for this one, Neil. You up for some whining?
Yes,
whining and dining?
might as well.
And reclining. Okay, guys. Well, that's it for today's episode, and we'll be back with another one. We're not sure if it'll be a psychopathic Santa friend or something different. Who knows?
The odds are looking good.
The odds are looking good. Cool. All right, guys. I hope you have a nice rest of the day, and we will speak to you tomorrow. Goodbye.
And goodbye.
Ho, ho, ho. See you tomorrow. Remember, don't drink and drive. Ho, 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 ho.